All right. Hola muchachos, pues bienvenidos a otro... necesito cambiar algo aquí. Muy bien. Bienvenidos a otro video de mi canal. El día de hoy voy a seguir aprendiendo inglés. Utilizando un programa de televisión. Entonces, sí, bienvenido. Si tú ya has visto mis videos, pues ya sabes lo que estoy haciendo. Y si no has visto estos videos, pues creo que es un, es un buen momento para que los veas, creo. Ok, un segundo más. Ok, entonces voy a mover esto un poquito acá. Ok, sí, creo que me gusta. Ok, entonces hoy voy a comenzar tratando de recordar todo lo que he memorizado. Tú vas a poder ver el script de lo que yo estoy memorizando. Está aquí, justo aquí. Y bueno, yo ahora no lo puedo ver porque está al revés, like backwards. Decimos backwards en español. Or the other way around. No, it's backwards. Sí, está al revés. Entonces yo no puedo, yo no puedo ver lo que voy a decir aquí, pero por supuesto voy a intentar. Entonces vamos a empezar. Voy a tratar de acercar un poco esto para que no tenga que hablar tan fuerte. Okay. Our story is about a town, a small town, and the people who live in the town. From a distance, it presents itself like many other small towns all over the world. Safe, decent, innocent. Get closer though, and you start seeing the shadows underneath. The name of our town is Riverdale. Our story begins, I guess, with what the Blossom Twins did this summer. On the 4th of July, just after dawn, Jason and Cheryl Blossom drove out to Sweetwater River for an early morning boat ride. After that, then Jason, are you scared? That's what the lady says. Jason, are you scared? The last thing we know happened is that this kid was leading Riverdale's Boy Scout troop. Ok, entonces eso es exactamente lo que yo he memorizado. Voy a tratar una vez más. Our story is about a town, a small town, and the people who live in the town. Ok, antes de continuar, voy a tratar de decirlo 3 veces completas. Si me equivoco, voy a añadir una cuarta. Si me equivoco otra vez, voy a añadir una quinta y así. Entonces, al menos 3 tienen que ser memorizadas, tengo que decirlas correctamente. Ok, entonces, esta es la primera. Our story is about a town, a small town, and the people who live in the town. From a distance, it presents itself like many other small towns all over the world. Safe, decent, innocent. Get closer though, and you start seeing the shadows underneath. The name of okay, that wasn't a real mistake, I promise. The name of our town is Riverdale. Our story begins, I guess, with what the Blossom Twins did this summer. On the 4th of July, just after dawn, Jason and Cheryl Blossom drove out to Sweetwater River for an early morning boat ride. Okay, I'm still hesitating in this part. Entonces, yo quería explicar algo que aprendí ayer. Probably, as you already know, I've been seriously obsessed with learning what does they drove out to Sweetwater River. So in the script, en el script, ellos dicen, puedo mostrar aquí. Ok, entonces exactamente. Let me just. Un momento, por favor. Ok, here. Creo que necesito hacerlo un poco más pequeño. Hey, ¿qué pasa? Okay, un segundo, por favor. Un momento, por favor. Ok, here. Ok. Entonces, el problema es aquí. Entonces dice, Jason and Cheryl Blossom drove out to Sweetwater River. No estaba muy seguro sobre cómo puedo traducir esta expresión o esta oración en español, porque yo pensé que hay un verbo como drive out. Entonces, de hecho, hay un verbo como drive out y es un verbo que podemos utilizar. By the way, thank you for whoever is watching. So Jason Cheryl Blossom drove out to Sweetwater River. Hay un verbo frasal, like a phrasal verb, un verbo frasal que es como voy a dar un ejemplo. Déjame pensar. Un ejemplo como they drove him out until the person left. I'm not quite sure about this example. No estoy seguro de este ejemplo porque no he estudiado esta parte o este verbo frasal. Pero it's like when you tell someone so many things, like bad things, and you tell them to leave, and finally they leave. I think that's how you can drive someone out, by just convincing them that they should leave or something like that, kind of. Pero en este ejemplo, Jason y Cheryl Blossom, ellos, it's really interesting because in Spanish, I think that we cannot really translate the whole idea just using 2 or 3 words. Like here, you're using the verb drive, you're using the word out, and also you put in a direction too. So drive out to. So basically, we have drive, manejar un auto. We cannot say just manejar. Like manejar, it could be many things. So if we want to specify, if we want to use the verb drive in español, we have to include the word carro or coche or auto, like car, in order to specify that this is related to car, and not like manejar could be manejar a machine, manejar a business. So it's kind of like interesting. Anyway, so Jason and Cheryl Blossom drove out. Literally, Jason y Cheryl Blossom manejaron su coche afuera, like out, afuera, to Sweetwater River, hasta llegar o hacia el río de aguas dulces, Sweetwater, agua dulce. Entonces, ¿cómo diría yo esto en español? Jason y Cheryl Blossom manejaron su coche hasta, no sé, to be honest, I wouldn't even say drove out. That's very specific. Yo diría, Jason y Cheryl Blossom fueron hasta el río Sweetwater en su coche. Entonces, it's really interesting to see that there are not really good ways to translate this, unless I think like really deep, and probably I could come up with a good translation, but I believe that the best thing we can do here is just use an equivalent. And like I said, Jason and Cherry Blossom drove out to Sweetwater River. I would just say Jason y Cherry Blossom fueron hasta el río, fueron al río Sweetwater en su coche. Just like that, or en su carro, en su auto. Isn't it funny to see this? But yeah, let me see. So let's continue for an early morning boat ride. Entonces, for an early morning boat ride sería para tener un paseo en bote muy temprano. For an early morning boat ride. Para tener un paseo en bote. So it's interesting because we also have the word bote in Spanish, and it's a boat. So bote, boat. Oh, I think this is not how you type boat. I think boat is like boat, right? Sorry for that. So yeah, boat is bote in Spanish, or yeah, I would say boat based on the context of the story. So once more, I'm gonna try to translate this whole thing into Spanish. So it's our story begins, I guess, with what the Blossom twins did this summer on the 4th of July, just after dawn. The Jason and Cherry Blossom drove out to Sweetwater River for an early morning boat ride. Entonces, nuestra historia, nuestra historia begins, I guess, supongo. So, nuestra historia comienza, yo supongo, or just supongo, con lo que, with what, con lo que, with what, con lo que the Blossom twins, los gemelos Blossom, the Blossom twins, los gemelos Blossom, did this summer. Hicieron this summer, este verano. Okay. On the 4th of July, el 4 de julio, on the 4th of July, el 4 de julio, just after dawn, a la primera luz del día, just after dawn, a la primera luz del día, Jason y Cherry Blossom drove out to Sweetwater River. Fueron en su coche a el río Sweetwater for an early morning boat ride, para un paseo en bote por la mañana, o muy temprano. Okay, so fair enough. Now I'm gonna try to remember this. So there's just in this story, there's this conversation. It's not a real conversation. It's just they get a close up to, I believe it's Cheryl, and she looks. No, she turns out to um, Jason, and she says, Jason. Oh, sorry, Jason. Are you scared? Jason, are you scared? Jason, ¿tienes miedo? Are you scared? ¿Tienes miedo? And of course, Jason. So I don't know how to, again, if you're watching, whoever this person is right here, if you're watching this video after the streaming, how do you say no without without really saying anything, just moving your head? Is there any verb, just like you can nod when you agree? That's something I learned a couple of weeks ago, or months, I guess. But like, how do you do the opposite? I don't know. I would love to know. Okay, so Jason, are you scared? And Jason goes like, Like he barely moves his but you can tell he is moving his head. Okay. Then the presenter or whoever is reading the story or telling the story goes like, oh, hold on, I need to go here. So the last thing we knew happened was that, and then he mentions a name. I don't remember the name of the kid. That this kid was leading Riverdale's. Oh no. Uh-huh. 1 second. Okay, Riverdale's Boy Scout. I think Boy Scout. Okay, so that's the last part. The last thing we knew happened was that this kid was leading Riverdale's Boy Scout. Oh, Boy Scout troop. Okay, so this part, how can I translate this part? Let me just making sure. So, la última cosa que nosotros supimos que pasó. The last thing we knew happened. Again, it's pretty interesting to see. Es muy interesante ver que en inglés nosotros podemos acortar muchas ideas en solo unas palabras. Por ejemplo, the last thing we knew happened. Son 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 palabras. In Spanish, if you want to say the last thing we knew happened, I would say la última cosa que nosotros supimos que pasó. So that's 8 words, 2 more words. Still probably it's not the same, but like it's almost the same, but like you have to add 2 words because we cannot say the last thing, la última cosa, the last thing we need a connection between the verb and the pronoun. So the last thing, la última cosa que. So I believe you in English can say the last thing that we knew that happened, right? And you add this 2 missing words in Spanish. But in English, I mean, in Spanish, it has to happen. There's no way we can just like skip it and say, la última cosa nosotros supimos pasó. That's not, it's really impossible. So yeah, just that. So the last thing we knew happened, la última cosa que supimos que pasó was that this they mentioned name and I haven't memorized this name, but whoever was leading, estaba how can we say leading? Estaba dirigiendo o estaba lidereando. I think there's a verb like that. Or yeah, estaba dirigiendo or estaba lidereando Riverdale's Boy Scout troop. La tropa de Boy Scouts de Riverdale. I don't know, I'm confused with the R's. So yeah, okay, the last thing we knew, I'm gonna have to try to find the name of this kid. Okay. All right. So once more, I'm going to try to memorize. I'm going to try to repeat this one once more to see if it works. So our story is about a small town, and the people who live in the town. From a distance, it presents itself like many other small towns all over the world. Get closer though. No, sorry. I think okay. Our story is about a small town, and the people who live in the town. From a distance, it presents itself like many other small towns all over the world, save decent, innocent. Get closer though, and you start seeing the shadows underneath. The name of her town is Riverdale. Our story begins, I guess, with what the Blossom twins did this summer. On the 4th of July, just after dawn, Jason and Cheryl Blossom drove out to Sweetwater River for an early morning boat ride. Jason, are you scared? Last thing we know happened was that this kid was leading Riverdale's Boy Scout troop. Okay, one more time. I'm gonna try it once more. Our story is about a small town, and the people who live in the town. From a distance, it presents itself like many other small towns all over the world. Safe, decent, innocent. Get closer though, and you start seeing the shadows underneath. The name of our town is Riverdale. Our story begins, I guess, with what the Blossom twins did this summer. On the 4th of July, just after dawn, Jason and Cheryl Blossom drove out to Sweetwater River for an early morning boat ride. Jason, are you scared? The last thing we knew happened was that this kid was leading Riverdale's Boy Scout troop. Okay, I did it. Well done, Carlos. Okay, now it's time to learn new things. Oh, so no. Oh yeah. Okay. Our story is about it's a town, a small town, and the people who live in the town. From a distance, it presents itself like so many other small towns all over the world. Safe, decent, innocent. Get closer though, and you start seeing the shadows underneath. The name of our town is Riverdale. Okay, music. And our story begins, I guess, with what the Blossom twins did this summer. Okay. On the 4th of July, just after dawn, Jason and Cheryl Blossom drove out to Sweetwater. Yes, sorry, I cannot say that too fast. Are you scared, Jason? Okay, here we go. Thunder crashing. Oh yeah, I forgot the thunder crashing thing. The next thing we know happened for sure. I forgot. Olvidé esta parte. The last thing we know happened for sure. Okay, for sure. Delton Doily. Is that okay? This guy, Delton Doily. Who was leading? Oh, okay. See, I forgot many things. So the last thing we know happened for sure was that Delton Doily. I'm not sure if I pronounced this one correctly. Let me see. Doily on a bird watching expedition. Okay, troop on a bird watching. On a bird watching. Oh, I shouldn't write this one, right? On a bird. Yeah, I'm not gonna write it down because then I'm gonna get comfortable, and I don't want to get comfortable. So on a bird watching expedition. On a bird watching expedition. So the last thing we knew happened for sure was that Delton Doily, who was leading Riverdale's Boy Scout troop on a bird watching expedition. Wow, esto va a ser muy difícil. On a bird watching expedition. The last thing we knew happened for sure is that Delton Doily, who was leading Riverdale's led Riverdale's Boy Scout troop on a bird watching expedition. Whew, okay. Take it easy, Carlos. So, okay. Uh, so the last thing we know happened for sure is that Dalton Doyley, who was leading Riverdale's Boy Scout troop on a bird watching expedition. On a bird watching expedition. Okay, once more. Last thing we know happened. Oh, I think I made a mistake. We knew happened. I think we know happened. So let me see. Thunder crashing. I should write that just in case. Thunder. This is funny. Thunder crashes. Like un trueno. No, un rayo truena, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, the next thing we know. No, we knew. Okay, Carlos. The last thing we knew happened for sure was that Dalton Doyley, who was leading Riverdale's Boy Scout troop on a bird watching expedition. Okay. Came upon Cheryl by the river's edge. So come upon. Um, that's a new. I've seen this phrasal verb many times. He visto este verbo frasal muchas veces. To come upon, pero ¿cómo podemos usar? Of a state or condition, start to arrive or happen, make progress. Okay. En español. Es un poco extraño porque came upon. Oh, encontrar. Maybe. Like to find. Vamos a ver. Hay algunos ejemplos aquí. Therefore, you have caused all this evil to come upon them. No sé si tú has hecho venir sobre ellos. No. Veronica then sees vision of the destruction that is to come upon us. Huh. Vendrá sobre. Huh. Interesting. Vamos a ver. Word reference lingui. Let's see. Let's try lingui. Caer sobre, llegar, toparse. Toparse. I think it's very close. Está muy cerca del verbo toparse. Toparse is like to run to run. We run to. No, how do you say that in English? I was walking and I run into. Yeah, to run into someone. Toparse. Vamos a ver, el hombre presente en escena. Rebelión. Ahora es el. Yeah, I mean, toparse to me, it's just the perfect verb to come upon. So I don't know if I'm going to remember this, but okay. So the last thing we know happened for sure is that Dalton Doyley, who was leading Riverdale's Boy Scout troop on a bird watching expedition, came upon Cheryl on the river's edge. Okay, let me see. Came upon Cheryl by the river's edge. Came upon Cheryl by the river's edge. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so let's see if I can remember. So the last thing we know happened for sure was that Dalton Doyley, who was leading Riverdale's Boy Scout troop on a bird watching expedition, came upon Cheryl by the river's edge. By the river's edge. By the river's edge. Okay, I'm gonna read it a couple of times because I feel like I'm gonna forget this one because it has a lot of new vocabulary. So the last thing we know happened for sure was that Delton Doyley, who was leading Riverdale's Boy Scout troop on a bird watching expedition, came upon Cheryl by the river's edge. Right? Yeah. Okay. The last thing we know happened for sure was that Delton Doyley, who was leading Riverdale's Boy Scout troop on a bird watching expedition, came upon Cheryl by the river's edge. Okay, now before we finish, because it's been 30 minutes, I'm gonna try to remember all this. Oh Jesus, it's a lot. Hopefully, if I can do it at least 2 times, I'm gonna be super happy. I promise. I promise. So, let me see. Wow, how many words have I learned so far? I don't know. Okay, our story is about a small town, and the people who live in the town. From a distance, it presents itself like many other small towns all over the world. Safe, decent, innocent. Get closer though, and you start seeing the shadows underneath. The name of our town is Riverdale. Our story begins, I guess, with what the Blossom twins did this summer. On the 4th of July, just after dawn, Jason and Cheryl Blossom drove out to Sweetwater River for an early morning boat ride. Jason, are you scared? Thunder crashes. And the last thing we know happened for sure was that Delton Doyley, who was leading Riverdale's Boy Scout troop on a bird watching expedition, came upon Cheryl by the river's edge. Woohoo! I remembered. Okay, let's see if I can do it once more. Vamos a ver si puedo hacerlo una vez más. Okay, just once more. And if you're still watching, whoever's watching, don't leave because I have a really good news to tell you. And probably you're going to be really interested in if you are learning Spanish and you're willing to practice Spanish. Okay, so last time, our story is about a small town, and the people who live in the town. From a distance, it presents itself like many other small towns all over the world. Safe, innocent, decent, innocent. Get closer though, and you start seeing the shadows underneath. The name of our town is Riverdale. Our story begins, I guess, with what the Blossom twins did this summer. On the 4th of July, just after dawn, Jason Cheryl Blossom drove out to Sweetwater River for an early morning boat ride. Jason, are you scared? Thunder crashes. The last thing we know happened for sure was that Delton Doyley, who was leading Riverdale's Boy Scout troop on a bird watching expedition, came upon Cheryl by the river's edge. Okay, well done. I think I get it. Hopefully, tomorrow I can remember, or in case that I don't do it tomorrow, the next time I do this, hopefully I'm gonna remember. Okay, so just before I finish, I wanted to say that I'm organizing this short meetings on Zoom. So whoever is watching this video, I just wanted to know that every Friday I'm gonna be doing this Zoom meeting, and we're gonna be playing Kahoot. It's just a short meeting. It's not like more than 30 minutes, just really short and fun. So last time I happened to have one person, and it was kind of like fun. Although I would have loved to have more people, to be honest, but still, it was awesome. I'm gonna be uploading the video during the week. So yeah, if you want to be part of this, I'm looking for at least 4 or 5 people every Friday. Doesn't matter what is your Spanish level. The questions are really simple. It's if you happen to know, Kahoot is just a website or an app, if you will, where you can make really fun uh, but useful still quizzes. And basically, what we do in this meeting, I'm gonna share with you a video that you have to watch. It's a really short video on YouTube, like 1 or 2 minutes, no more video. And then you have to watch it a couple of times if you want. If you want to take notes or anything, that's fine. During the video call, which of course I would share with you the details and the time. I'm planning to do one at 11 EST time on Fridays, like I said, and 11 a.m. and one probably at 12, if depending on your necessities, of course. So morning, Fridays mornings would be perfect for me. So again, and the video call, we just play the Kahoot. It's around 10-15 questions, and we kind of like talk about it a little bit. I can explain things that you don't understand Spanish. I try to speak a lot of Spanish, but again, it doesn't matter what is your level, if you're a beginner or if you're an advanced student. But if you want to have fun, I think that levels are not super important. Also, I'm thinking that from time to time, I'm gonna make really specific uh, meetings for advanced people or for beginners, because of course I know sometimes it's necessary for some people. But yeah, if you want to do any of this, please let me know. You can send me a comment here, or yeah, you can just send me a message or something. I don't know. Anyway, thank you so much for being here, and nos vemos en el siguiente video. Bye.